Hello. I was just going to give my kind of conclusions on this trip, just reflections on some things that I learned. I was going to go through a list. I'm first going to talk about my goals that I had at the beginning of the trip and how I accomplished those goals, and talking more in depth about that. I was going to say a few things about the retail audit that we had, and on top of that, just a few other extra things that I learned that I thought were very interesting on my trip, either in Central Europe or in the UK itself. But here we go. The first goal that I talked about at the beginning of the trip was to meet a stranger and to learn his life story. And actually, the other day in the train station, we met a group of strangers, and Matt found out that they were musicians. They were carrying guitars around, and Matt decided to try and play guitar with them, and he did, and it was incredible. They played Hallelujah, and we met them, and they were all about how this is what music was really about. It was I got a video of it as well, um, and we learned that they were just a traveling group. They just went from place to place, and we got the opportunity to play with them and sing with them, and it was really quite an amazing experience. Um, Second goal that I wanted to accomplish was changed a little bit. It was originally compare different establishments and how marketing affects their business positively or negatively. I did end up changing that a little bit towards the beginning, towards just compare what affects a business positively or negatively. And what I decided to talk about was my trip to Rome and Italy. Uh, we had this really good tour guide who talked to us about the businesses in Rome and how they are starting to fail because they are a place that has definitely been affected by the exchange rate of changing over from the lira to the euro. He said 12 years ago, if you had come to Italy and wanted to live there, then it would be very easy to live there because it used to be very cheap. And on top of that, the lira was, I guess, at that point a much better alternative for monetary value. And what I thought was interesting was that they said if you had, and this goes along with another small interesting thing I was going to talk about later, but he said that Starbucks actually did not want to have business in Rome and Italy because the prices on real estate were so bad that not even Starbucks thought that they were going to thrive there. And that's incredible because they're such a successful company. So it shows how bad the market is there and how bad the pricing is because of the exchange rate. Um, so there was that. My third goal that I wrote down was compare entrepreneurship of business and compare it to America, and this was answered very easily in our Johnson and Johnson interview. They did tell us that, I mean, uh, it's not as easy for an American to be an entrepreneur in the UK. They typically don't do that. So just plain and simple, it technically, I guess, doesn't happen very often. My last goal that I was going to mention was to just befriend people from the UK and receive their thoughts on Americans. And when I would go out, like go to restaurants and whatnot, or just plain walking on Woodstock, I would get some looks from people, and they would say things like, "Oh, are you from America?" And we obviously are like, "Yeah, how could you tell?" And they're like, We can tell you have a very different accent." And we told them we were Texan, and right when we told them that we were Texan, they, I guess how I should have thought it would be, they just thought of cowboys riding on horses, going to school like that, and listening to country music. So that was interesting because we uh, um, we met a couple who actually wanted me to sing a country song to them, and obviously, I guess I wanted to, and so I did, and they really actually like Americans. I don't know why, but before I came here, I thought that they would not like Americans. I just figured that that was the way it was with most countries outside of America. But yeah, that was the end of my goals, and now I was gonna delve into a little bit of the retail audit. And what we did for the retail audit was we investigated Tesco's, and some things that I wanted to talk about that were different were some really big things that I noticed. Accessibility was one of them. They have an upper level and a lower level, which isn't very common from where I come from in Texas. Uh, and what was strange about it is that they actually did not have access for people with disabilities. There was an escalator that went down and up, and that was it. That was interesting. Another thing that I found that was interesting is actually the products that were there. The numerical value of them were the exact same as what you would find in America, but since they were the exact same, like the numbers were the exact same, it technically meant that they were more expensive because of the exchange rate from dollars to pounds. So like I had the example of chicken noodle soup cost 89 pence here, which you're like, okay, that's a really great price. It's the same price I'm used to. But if you think about it, that's really over a dollar, maybe about $1.50 when you compare it to American dollars. That was something that I did find very interesting, and checkout was very interesting as well. Uh, the they the way that they did it that I saw was different than Walmart was they had two lines that went to two different sections of six different registers, and that was interesting to me at first. But it was also interesting that they had someone that would direct the traffic flow as well. Um, so yeah, I definitely thought that that was interesting. Another thing that I definitely found interesting was, and to wrap things up, the last thing that I found that was interesting is when I came here, I forgot the importance of coins when you come to the UK. When I'm in the States, usually I just have quarters, nickels, dimes, pennies, and I just would put them on my desk somewhere, maybe collect them, and over time I'll count it up, and it'll end up being maybe around $10, depending on how long I collect it. But here, I can just collect the coins and pick up. I mean, it's very strange because the pound is also a coin, and you just don't think about how valuable that the coins are here when you come from America. But those are just a few things that I wanted to list out that I would reflect on and will reflect on that I learned in this study abroad trip, and I am very grateful that I've been able to come here and learn these different things firsthand. So, yeah, that's about it for my reflections. Thank you.